Okay, what's the one movie that comes to mind when you hear the question, why hasn't that gotten a sequel yet? For me, it's this movie right here, 2012's Dredd, a movie that is criminally underrated and did not get the recognition it deserved from the general audience. Not enough people saw this movie. And if you're one of those people who haven't seen Dredd, do me a favor, do yourself a favor. Take a break from the MCU, take a break from the drama of DC, and watch Dredd. It is one of the best comic book movies in the last 20 years. I kid you not. I bring up Dredd because Karl Urban, the star of the movie, who's also in The Boys, did a recent interview with GQ where he got to reflect on some of his biggest roles in Hollywood. One of those roles was Dredd. And we're going to listen to him reflect on it and also 10 years later still have interest in playing the character. This is my first time watching it. I'm very excited to see what he has to say. And if you're ready, let's check it out.
I didn't read many comics at all. In fact, pretty much Dredd was the only one. But I really responded to the world of Dredd, the character, the dark, sort of satirical look at this dystopian future. And also the character who could be heroic at times, but he could also be a villain. And, as a representative of a very sort of right-wing regime establishment. It's set in a time where politicians have been dispensed with and the judges have literally taken power and are now patrolling the streets dispensing on-the-spot
Judge,
justice,
jury,
and
and
it's a ruthless
execution.
kind of justice. Working with Alex Garland, who was the writer and pretty much the director of the whole project,
Yep.
was an invaluable experience. Most of Dredd was shot at Cape Town Film Studios. We did a little bit exterior work in a couple of locations, driving the Lawmaster motorbike. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, so for the most part, it was all in the studio. And I remember, a lot of practical effects. There were a lot of explosions, and we were firing, weapons that were actually real weapons that had a casing
Such
built
a
around it
sick
to
scene.
make them look like futuristic Lawmaster weapons. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd actually met Lena years ago on the set of Born Supremacy. I remember we were shooting some pickups in London, and it was a scene where Dredd comes in at the end and they sort of face each other, and I come on set and I'm wearing the Dredd helmet and she's standing at the far end of the set, and she looks at me and just starts maniacally laughing. Let's just say it added good motivation to the scene. I mean, she was crazy. She was brilliant in the film.
Yes.
Do you know how many people live in this block?
This isn't a negotiation. The sentence is death.
You can't afford to take the risk.
And, I certainly would be interested to revisit the character. There's just such a
Yes.
great depth of material there that was written by John Wagner and various writers over the years, particularly stories revolving around Judge Death and a lot of great stories. To me, it doesn't bother me if, I get the opportunity to play Dredd again or it's someone else. I would just love to see those stories. I mean, I'd be excited for anybody who gets their hands on the rights to do that. That'd be incredible.
It has to be you, Karl Urban. I'm sorry to say it. It has to be you. Or otherwise, don't touch it for another 10 years. Okay. And a lot of, again, if you haven't seen the movie, okay, that they showed some of the more standout action sequences. That opening action sequence, man, he goes, hot shot, man. And Lena Headey, you think Hela in Thor Ragnarok is badass? No, 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 no. Lena Headey is dangerous. And granted, this movie is rated R and it does not hold back. It also uses slow mo very effectively. And I know somebody out there, slow motion, Zack Snyder, whatever, blah, blah. No, it ties into the story and it's done very effectively. And it's a movie that I revisit from time to time. And every time I ask the question, why hasn't it gotten a sequel? So I would love to see it. Netflix, if you're watching or if you're browsing Twitter looking for new IP with a lot of potential, or not even new IP, just IP with a lot of potential, untapped potential, look no further than Dredd. I just wanted to do a quick video on that. I'm always excited, always hopeful about updates on a potential sequel. And for Carl Urban, I think his stock has certainly risen a lot, quite a bit since 2012. I think the comic book genre has definitely opened up more to violent and mature and darker takes. It's definitely the right time for that kind of stuff. So whether it's a limited series or a movie sequel, I just want to see more of Karl Urban as Dredd, and I'm sure you guys would as well. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Make sure you get a thumbs up. I appreciate that so much. And fingers crossed. Come on, Dredd 2, make it happen. And that's all for now. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.